am Spider-Man. Spidery Spider-Man. Spider, 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 spidery Spider-Man. Bow, 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 bow. See, that's Spider-Man, but Iron Man, but it's Spider-Man. Oh, it's so silly. Hello. Hi, and welcome to the show, you cunts. Hoo hoo hoo. Gloomy goo goo. Loony coo coo zoo zoo. What's that? I had it in my head all day today. Rhinestone Cowboy. Goony goo goo, loony cuckoo, like Aragon knew off Who's Who Review, but who knew the mask had a loose screw? Al could hardly tell, had to tighten it up like the gels on Archie Bell. It speaks well up to hyperbase, wasn't even tweaked and it leaked into cyberspace. Couldn't wait for the snipes to place. Yeah, whatever. Hi. Oh, I had a fun day today. Oh, I was at a post office. Oh, man, I usually try to get there early, before all the fuckheads get there. The post office is always full of some weird people, man. I think it's where a lot of, I don't know what the term would be to describe them. Like dossers, kind of. The sorts of people you see at the job centre, which it's not nice to say, like, a bunch of unemployed wretches of society. But, the sort of people that would walk into a place and be like, "Oi, what the fuck's going on? I can't get my fucking money out. What the fuck you do?" A lot of those sorts of people go to the post office. Very strange. Anyway, I try to get there early to avoid the old people. I don't really mind the people I spent a couple of minutes bad-mouthing. I don't mind them so much. It's the old fucking people that spend 4 hours paying in pennies. Oh, is that £8.97? I think I've got that. There's £8 coins, 50 pence. Here's a 20 and a 10. I think I've got the other money in pennies. Let me look in my purse. Just die already, you old fuck! Of course I don't mean that. No, actually I do. They should just fucking die already. But so the point is, I try to get there early in general, to avoid all the hassle and stress of those kinds of people. And sometimes that's successful, sometimes it's not. Sometimes I get there super early in the morning and it's already full of those kinds of people. What am I to do in that situation? What am I to do? Not a lot, really. I don't really do much. I just sort of carry on and hope it all goes away. And oh Jesus, am I really talking my day at the post office? This will be interesting content for all of you, won't it? No, it won't. Shut up, Ewan. I had that plan in my head. I was like, I'll talk about my day, because it was a bit weird. I got there a bit later than usual. I was expecting it to be full of people, but there was like no one there. It was like a ghost town. And then I realised it wasn't even open. I'd just broken into the post office thinking, I'll just fucking go in here and post my shit. Obviously, that's not what happened. But fucking hell, why am I still telling this story? Oh, this will be an interesting story, he says, knowing it's not. Carries on telling it anyway, like a vagina. And then there was a guy yelling because he didn't have a receipt for. I don't know. Also, so the woman who was serving me, putting through the international post that I have to send now at the desk instead of at the self-service machines because the Royal Mail fucked their system up. The woman serving me, at one point, she looks to her right and she goes, "Oh, hello." And they're behind glass in like their own little office space with glass in front between us, so I can't, steal money or whatever. But I have my ways. I know how I'd get in there if I wanted to steal money from the post office. I could easily steal money from the post office. That's what I'm saying. Not saying I'm planning to. I'm just saying if I was planning to, here's exactly how I plan to do it. But then, and I was there for a good little while, a few more minutes after she had said hello. There was no one there. There wasn't. She looked very, very clearly and obviously to her right, and I could see the entirety of the space to the door and the corner and the shelves and like cabinets they've got there, and I was just bewildered. I was like, I wanted to say something. I wanted to say, who the fuck are you who the fuck are you saying hello to, you crazy goddamn post office bitch? But that would have been wildly inappropriate. So I didn't say anything. I just thought it was weird. Who's she fucking talking? So anyway, so then, oh God, Jesus, that's about it. That was my fun post office story. So then I went to another shop, a stationery store, and then I went to Asda to do buy my bits, do my groceries shopping, get some food, some chicken, some veg, some hot chocolate. They put it all together in a soup. I call it hot choc chicken vegetable soup. It's delicious. You should try it sometime. The darker the hot chocolate, the better. Like dark hot chocolate made with dark chocolate. You get it. Dark chocolate chicken chicken chocolate vegetable soup. Oh fucking hell! What am I doing? So I was in Asda, and I saw this girl, and so this should have been how I started. Pretty sure I got followed today by some random girl. I don't know. I'm sure she wasn't actually following me, but a nice big butt. I think she actually had a big butt. This girl. She wore very baggy jeans. She was actually quite attractive, and I liked her dress style. She had like almost like 2000, like mid 2000s, sort of 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010s, sort of almost fashion, like skater fashion, like a stripy tank top and baggy jeans and skate shoes. And I was like, oh, I'm into that style. I think that's quite cool. It's like a little throwback, but she looked, I don't know, maybe early 20s, like. She skipped the 80s revival and the 90s, and she went straight into the 2000s, bringing that back already. It's already happening, Christ. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm not talking about anything. I'm just fucking saying a bunch of shit. Jesus. Someone shut me up. But yeah, I'm pretty sure. So as I went into the post office, as I say, I went in there a bit later than I usually do. She was in there. On the ground floor is like the W.H. Smiths. It's all, magazines and books and stationery and a whole bunch of shit. She was there looking at stationery, like, pencil cases and notebooks and stuff. Maybe she was a child looking for back to school stuff already. In which case, I really shouldn't say that she was kind of attractive. That would be filthy of me. What am I? Matt Walsh? Obviously a pedophile. Because he obviously is. If you know who he is, then you know. But yeah, so this girl was in there when I was in there. She was on the ground floor, and then I walked sort of past where she was and then upstairs to the post office. I was in the post office for maybe 20, 30 minutes total. And then I left the post office. I went to the stationery store. She was in the stationery store, and I was like, that's quite a coincidence. And it looked like she was looking at stationery in the W.H. Smith's post office. So I was like, yeah, that makes sense. She's, looking for stationery stuff. She's in a stationery store after looking in another store that sells stationery. Not too outrageous, not too out of the question, out of the blue. It's all sort of, it makes sense. It makes sense. Then I didn't buy anything in there. There wasn't sort of what I was looking for. So I left. And then I even walked the longer way round to Asda than I normally do. And then I see her in fucking Asda, this same girl. Wait, see, because I'm a firm believer in coincidences are just that. There's no plot for anything. There's no great plan. Coincidences just happen. And I've even had people say, oh, it's a bit too much of a coincidence if you ask me. And my usual answer is, no, that's exactly what the word coincidence describes, what you're saying. A thing happened, and then another thing happened very similar, and then another thing happened. Bit too much of a coincidence if you ask me. Like, no, that's literally why they made the word coincidence, to describe the exact situation that you're fucking talking about. So yeah, I don't believe in like conspiracies and plans. I think, you know, coincidences happen. People go places and fucking. But I when I saw her in Asda, I absolutely had my tinfoil hat, my kooky old man hat on, thinking she's definitely following me. Not for like, oh, she's obviously she thinks I'm hot and she's following me around. Like, no, she's like a fucking government agent in disguise or something. Like, you know, because that would make sense. If you're going to send government agents to like spy on people, it makes sense to not make them look like spies. Don't have like men in suits and dark glasses with the earpieces, you know, obviously hiding holstered guns on their hip or whatever. Have just fucking young girls in mid-2000s fashion walking around. It makes much more sense to do that. But the plot gets deeper. Like my anus. So she was in Asda. She had a very, very small bag with her that I noticed. It didn't appear she bought anything. She might have bought something, but it didn't appear that she had bought anything sizable, at least, from either of the shops I'd seen her in. And then when I was in Asda and she was in Asda, she walked past me as I was at the checkout. I was at the self-service checkout putting through my hot chocolate chicken vegetable soup ingredient. And then she walked past me, having not bought anything, and then just walked out. Why didn't she buy anything? Why was she in there? Why was she in, within the same space of time, the exact two shops I was in, and then the supermarket I was in, having not bought anything? It's a conspiracy. They're following me. I don't know who they are, but they, whoever they are definitely following me. I was a little bit, you know, not frightened, but, you know, I was wary. I was a little bit wary. You know, I didn't know what's going on. She's not buying shit. She's just in the same place as I'm in, following me around. Some fucking spy cunt. She's probably Russian. A Russian intelligence agent. Fucking spy. I don't know why they'd be following me. I don't have any intelligence. Of any kind at all. Get it? It was a bit weird. But it goes even deeper than that. It goes even further than that. So I come out of Asda, across the road, round a corner, across another road. Then it's a straight line past the Guildhall, through the park, up the street, and then I'm home. She was in the park. It's starting to sound like I'm making this up. She was in the fucking park. Just sat on a bench. Like, before I got there, she was there. I almost wanted to go up to her and just say, are you following me? Or like, have you got the stuff? Or something. Like, I know. Just look at her and go, I know. I was a little bit afraid. I almost didn't want to go home. I've done this before when, you know, I've had my paranoid delusional moments, thinking people are following me when obviously they're not, but thinking they might be. I've like, when I've been close to home, I've like walked down the street and around the block and then back up the street, to sort of like looking sort of as I turn corners, looking behind me to see if the person I thought was following me is still there, and then making sure they're not, because like if they don't already know where I live, I don't want to lead them to my home. So yeah, I've got to sort of give them a bit of a goose chase, lead them on a wrong path or whatever. I almost wanted. I didn't do that this time with this girl following me, but I felt like I maybe should. It was weird. She was just fucking everywhere. She wasn't doing anything. She was in the shops not buying stuff. Maybe buying some stationery here and there, but in Asda, clearly not buying anything. And then she was in the park, maybe she was meeting. So maybe that's all she was doing. Was I just bit the inside of my mouth? If I sounded a bit weird just then, that was why. That was not because I'm a lunatic making up stories about being followed by girls. It could have been she just happened. She was like waiting for a friend and she had some time to kill, so she was in some shops looking around. She thought, oh, I'll just pop to Asda, see if I fancy a snack or anything. She didn't, so she left. And then she was in the park waiting for her friend or whatever. That could be, probably is what it is. But, oh man, I swear to God. Swear to all of God. She was following me. She knows. But now I know. If she's really following me, then chances are they're probably keeping tabs on me online, whoever they are, which means she's probably watching this right now. Of course, this will be on Patreon several days later, and then will be on YouTube several days later after that. So, but still, she'll be watching, she'll be taking notes, or her superiors will be taking notes. So if they are watching this, if it's the FBI, CIA, NSA, NCCP, NSCPCP, the SSNCP, the PMS, SCP, Run DMC, whoever it is watching, listen now, I'm talking to you. I know, and I'm fucking, that's what I'm doing, I'm just fucking all the time. I'm eating hot chocolate chicken vegetable soup, and I'm fucking mad puss. Get so much ass, dick and pussy. You know, I take all comers, literally. I know you're following me. I know it. I knew it. I always knew it. Always knew I was so interesting that people just want to follow me around. Which it really is what that is. When people say, oh, I was being followed by spies, it's like they just want to, be interesting for a little while. Can't blame them, really. We all want to believe we're worth being followed. But really, if someone's going to follow me, they're going to be like, oh, look, he's buying the exact same food items as he did last week. Oh, look, he's masturbating again. He hasn't even gotten home yet, and he's already whipped it out, and he's slapping it against his thigh like a horse. Although I guess they slap it against their stomachs rather than their thighs, because that's how they masturbate. I believe that's how horses masturbate, is they slap it against their stomach. Certainly donkeys I've heard of doing that. I don't know about horses necessarily. I don't know too much about the masturbatory patterns of animals, to be honest. Maybe it's something I should look into a bit more. That would make some good content for you, wouldn't it? Masturbating animal content. We love a bit of that. Oh, love me some masturbating animals. Masturbating animals. Masturbating horse. Masturbating horses and donkeys. Oh, doodly 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 dee doodly doodly doo. Masturbating horse. That actually fits so perfectly. I kind of love it, because that's the thing I do. I say all the time. You find like sexual harassment. Panda, let's take a look at it. It's, you fit your own words to the syllables of existing songs. It's the best way to. Well, that's how people write parody songs. It's Weird Al Yankovic. He'll tell you that's the method. Man. That's the Method Man, the rapper. That's how he does it too. He doesn't write his own songs. He just... Yeah, he probably does, actually. Or maybe... fucking shut up. Fucking shut up, you. Fuck's sake, I'm sick of myself. Fucking sick of myself. Can they just take me out? Whoever's following me, can the people following me just take me out already? Just make me shut the fuck up. Fucking sick of it. Sick of having to be me all the time. I know it seems like a wicked, amazing, sick ass, wicked life. Like, oh, wow, being Ewan must be so fucking cool. Just like fucking all the time. You know, and if he's not, then he's masturbating and then drawing cool shit. And, oh, you know, wow, it must be so sick being Ewan. Oh, so fucking cool. I wish I was Ewan. Oh, God, I wish I was fun. I wish I was Ewan. But it's not. It's horrible. People say, I've spoken to, you know, people who know me in real life, and then people will sometimes ask them, they'll be like, oh, you know Ewan, is he as fucking psychotic as he is on his videos? And the people just say, I don't know, whatever they say, well, you know, he's all right, he's just like a person, isn't he? You get to know him and he's not that bad, he's all right. I don't know where I was going with that. But in reality, it's shit. You don't want to be Ewan. It's not fun. I don't want to be Ewan. I hate him. He's a prick. He's got a good big dick though. Well, I had a little look through Mr. Robin the Lobstin's sketchbook, and I thought maybe, bloody maybe, it could be fun to look through one. This is an old one from maybe, I don't know, possibly 2014, 2015, that sort of kind of time. I've got a bunch. I've got a whole shitload of old sketchbooks. And I thought, lacking any better ideas or options, you know, trying to fill the void that the Pit comics left us with, having been such a fun thing to look through week by week, slapping my tits as I do that. Yeah, so I thought I've got a bunch. I had a quick flick through them to see if they'd be like any good to look through, and I pulled out a few from like various generations, and I think it could be interesting to like look through and see different parts of where I was at and what I was doing at the time. Some of them even before I had Instagram, some of them not. But yeah, this is Ned's. That's me, and that's a bunch of my graph friends. Their names and tags. Some of them I could say, some of them I can't for legal reasons. This is actually what hot chocolate chicken vegetable soup looks like. It's delicious. I recommend you all try it. No, it's a penis. That was, I remember specifically, this was a sketchbook I had during my time at oh god, then it must be 2015. I think it must have been just after I started. And this, I think, maybe I had this sketchbook while I started. Anyway, someone said, oh, Ewan, draw something right now. Draw something really cool. And I was staring them in their face. And as I was staring at them, I drew that without looking. Because, you know, look how perfect it is. Even without looking, I can draw a penis. Whoa, look at the great unclean one. I think, yeah, this is before the now famous 4-color Bic pens came into the show. So none of that. No purples, pinks, and greens. Well, there's some green maybe, but I guess you'll see. You know, some cool drawings. A dragon, like a Charizard. Wasn't supposed to look like Charizard, but it just so happens. And a Minotaur in space. I thought it'd be cool to draw like a dragon fighting a Minotaur in space, and the Minotaur has a space helmet with holes for his horns to go through, which would let oxygen out, so it's probably stupid. But that's quite cool. I don't know if you can see this here. I'll try and redraw it. It actually looks quite cool. And that's another thing, actually. Looking through these sketchbooks, I might be able to like come up with ideas for new art, or just, you know, reuse old art that sort of never went anywhere. So that's the Minotaur's head, and his hand or his arm is going into the mouth of this dragon here. Some of these, it's like I don't necessarily want to look through them because it's embarrassing, and that I did sort of get some of those, I guess what they call douche chills. You know, just feeling embarrassed at some of my old sketches and old ideas and thoughts and things that I put into sketchbooks, and just thinking, ugh, what was I thinking? Like, even at these times I thought I was good at drawing, and then I see this sort of stuff I was doing and I'm like, nah. Just, that wasn't it. That was not it. Dragon claws and legs. See how easily I draw this shit now. Back then it was like all scribbles trying to figure all this shit out. I guess it wasn't that bad actually, considering the time. Again, this is closing in on being 10 years ago, to give you an idea. So there's a minotaur punching a dragon in its mouth, and it's going glok, giving it the glok glok glok. That's a sex thing. Starfish with an Uzi. That's what he's called. Wow, 2 pages in and we're already going on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Some chick off Instagram. There's quite a lot of that in here. That guy Skeletor, as he's known. That's a Friends little demon girl character I drew. That's their character and I drew it. I thought that I made it sound like I designed it, but I didn't, and it didn't sound like that. I'm just talking too much. A tongue bitten off. I had this image of a tongue being bitten off that I wanted to do, and I was trying to... fucking whatever. Judge Mortis, a cowboy. It's supposed to be a cowboy. It's actually shit. Some very old pre-gun Viking. Look, he's grabbing that guy by the throat, kicking that guy in the head. He's got his fist through this guy's torso with an Uzi pistol. This guy's jumping at him with an axe. Don't know what the fuck this fella's doing, but he's fighting away all the time. Dread, mean machine. Dread from behind and his bum. There's quite a few sketchbooks where I went through periods of like, oh, I'm going to work really hard and draw some Dread comics and then get a job at 2000 AD, and then didn't. And then another time where I was like, oh, I'm going to draw Dread and work on him and do some comics and get a job at and it never happened. Krang is quite cool. A bunch of sketches. The Angel from Hellboy. It's a pregnant bitch. Maes Mora. That's cool, I guess. And okay, so this, I think this sketchbook is where I first which is good. Sketchbooks, I don't put dates on them or anything because I don't really care, but they are in a way a journal, like a visual journal of where I was and what I was doing at the time. So this is me in my room in my my mum's house at the time. You can kind of see what I was doing, but but back then I didn't really have the sense of line weight and helping myself define shapes with thinner lines and thicker lines. I just threw all the lines in the same pen, same weight, and then it comes up as just a mess of lines, which you can kind of see. Like, this is the back of my chair and my shoulders and head at my desk and my laptop here next to me. All my books and sketchbooks and shit, basketball, lamp, a little goblin here, a little guy there, some canvases, bookshelves and books and piles and things, fan, plugs, bin, shit on the walls. Like, very similar to how I live now. It's actually very, very similar. I'm in the same corner. My desk is the same desk. My laptop's right here. Books and shit here and here. Whatever. But yeah, so this was... I don't know if I even said... So this is a sort of a visual time capsule of the time I first discovered Kim Jong-gi. And so I tried to be him a lot, tried to draw. So here's me in my room again. So desk here in the corner wall, bunch of shit. See, this drawing is of one of my black and white dungeon drawings with all the rooms in it, and that's here. So now I'm stood at this space on the wall and I'm drawing a fantasy battle happening, and there's like a bunny and a rat and some goblins hanging out, and my cat who has died since, sadly. Just a bunch of shit everywhere. So I was trying to be Kim Young-gi with like straight into ink and draw a whole scene, and it's amazing. Some shit going on. So yeah, there's quite a lot of that. Oh, look, a tit! There's paintings in here. This was a few years into my sort of teaching myself to paint. I painted a tit with a piercing. I think I scanned it in before I did the piercing, and then I painted the piercing in on top and scanned it. And then somewhere along the way, I don't know how well it shows up, but just doing like a pink pen, I drew a funny face on it. So like the nipple's the nose, and it's got a funny smiley face. Floating little I don't know. It's quite cool. I actually still really like that painting. It would have made it into my paintings book, which came out sometime after this. But I tried to keep my paintings book fairly family friendly, which now I kind of regret in a way, but it doesn't really matter, does it? A friend of mine, she appears a few times because I'd only met her recently, so we were hanging out a little bit. Nothing like that. She never saw my penis. I saw hers though. It was impressive. It was really pretty. It was a really nice shape and very smooth penis. Usually I don't like smooth penises. I like them to be bumpy and veiny, but yeah, she had a nice smooth penis. This was another like scene straight into ink, trying to be Kim Young-gi with just random stuff, because I thought, oh, that's what Kim Young-gi did. Look, so there's a van, and I guess me painting graffiti on the van, but then turning this way up, there's a guy floating in the air painting graffiti on the roof. That's bloody weird, isn't it? This guy's floating, painting on this. Fucking MF Doom running away with a bag of money from a policeman, photographer, some people in boxes, a Batman. I don't know. I just thought, oh, let's throw in loads of random shit. It'll make a really good drawing. It doesn't really do that. This is a list of cards that I would need to do art for my XO Ox card game. Soldiers, nuke proof suit, slug beast, worm, double agent, melt. I don't know. Mech. Gas cloud, giant monster, soldiers made of, etc. Some rough sketches for those things. ABC robots, trying to draw ABC robots. This is another trying to be Kim Young-gi. There's a lot of that in here, so you know, just so you're aware. The running of the Barts, I actually really like this. And I tried to keep the, like, not keep, but sort of steal the fish eye movement thing. So they are like, the view of them kind of goes like this, so you can see the top of his head there and the front here. So they're running, just a bunch of Barts running, drawn straight into ink. Not that brilliant, not terrible. And I kind of like the idea, and it's an idea, one of those ideas I might actually take. Because if I like drew that better now and painted it, like a nice painting of just a bunch of angry Barts running, that might be quite a cool piece of art. I don't fucking know. A very sickly looking Marge. I don't know why I drew her in fucking yellow and green. Well, I guess yellow makes sense, but the green. Bunch of Instagram fuckers and fucking girls trying to get validation. Look, I drew you. Do you like my drawing of you? I drew you. Please say you like me, please. Another Young-gi. But I actually got some okay artwork out of this. There's a couple of pieces, I don't know if they're in this book, but that I was trying to do his thing, and I came out with some pretty, what I consider to be pretty okay drawings. Like this one's not bad. There's an artist called Mr. Clement, and he's got this rabbit character called Lapin, or Mr. I think it's just Lapin, which I believe is the French word for rabbit, which makes sense. I think he's like a Japanese or Chinese guy, but he uses the French word for, and why not? It's a good enough word, and it makes for a cool character. So he's this rabbit character, and part of that is one of the characters of this Lapin character. One of the guises of this Lapin character is an astronaut. So I like the design of that, so I drew it, and it's just all over in the street with papers and stuff, and just a bunch, and the camera angle sort of moves towards the, I don't know, like it's on a globe, whatever. Monkey with a gun. Monkey with a fucking gun. You big smelly bitch. Boop boop. This thing that I've always been happy with, one of my proudest creations. I've yet to see someone else create this. I don't expect to copyright it. I don't consider myself to be so original that no one could ever come up with this, but it's just something I'm actually really happy with. It's simple, but I like it. Big Daddy from that Big Daddy game, Bioshock, and then a bunch of him. This was me practicing the Kim Jong-gi sort of camera angle. See, it's going like this and like this at the same time. These three, though, I actually really like this. Like, I'd post that on Instagram today, like crop this and post it and be like, here, here's Big Daddies. Or even if I took that and redrew it. Yeah, I think that's fucking cool. Plague Bearer. Love Nurgle. Started with the fucking Nurgle boys, didn't it? Somewhere. Somewhere. There. Nurgle. Fucking Nurgle. We love some Nurgle. Another Instagram person said, draw some carp. So they're not brilliantly drawn, but they're like see buildings and paving. They're like swimming in the air through a street and trying to get the fisheye lens thing. I don't know who this guy is, but I like his style. It's pretty funny, funky looking guy, isn't he? I quite like that. I like those little, there's quite a few of those in here, just random little characters and doodles and things that like you want to almost take and do something with. Like what I do now is I go, oh, look at this guy with one big arm and a skull for a head. Why don't I make an entire comic out of it? A friend of mine from Instagram, she was actually a friend at this point, and I drew her as the Hulk. That's funny. Look, I drew you. Like me, please. Like me. I was trying to come up with a design for the nuke-proof suit card for my Ox game, and I thought of this big like metal ball that the person gets sort of sealed into, and it's got their arms and legs and a little like what's the windows they have on ships. I want to say pOdCaSt, but I know that's not the name. Window on boat. Oh, I know they've got a specific name. Fuck. I'm gonna porthole. Okay, so I had I was thinking pOdCaSt. Porthole. All I needed was hole. Of course it's a hole. It's a fucking hole in the side of the god fucking Instagram hair shit. Rob, my friend, Instagram friend Rob. That I'd just seen the movie Ant-Man, so whenever Ant-Man came out, Ant-Man movie 2015. Yeah, so this would be 2015. I was correct. Fucking let's go. But I thought it would have been better if it was an actual Ant-Man. So he's an ant man. So he's got man arms and man-ish legs, and then ant legs and an ant head. Really like that drawing. I think it's cool. He's got the down arm and the up arm, that classic pose. And then this guy's really... I love this, actually. I still, to this day, I love the shape and the funny... Like, it's a goblin with a head on top of his head, and he's got 4 arms as well. I love the colours. There's, like, blue skin mostly, and then there's pink and purples in there, but then some, like, peachy flesh kind of tones on his pale belly and ears and stuff. Really, really like that. That's another one that I could, like... I'd post that today, and then... Oh, I might have to do that. Take that drawing, and then, you know, this is almost 10 years earlier, and then redraw it, but like flip it, redraw it, and then paint it really cool, like lighting effects and shit. That would be a really cool one for that. I might do that. I used to paint these on walls as like my graffiti character was this guy in a big pink cat suit, like a big mascot cat suit. But he was miserable all the time. So he's handing out flyers, and on the flyers it says, "Please help me die," because he's miserable. I've literally always been depressed. Just fucking always. Gun Viking showing up. Sort of proto early Gun Viking. More of the Jungian fisheye lens, but it's the guy in a catsuit having Mexican standoff with himself and himself and himself and himself and himself. And I was actually trying to work it out, like, right, so this is a triangle, this is a triangle, then there'd be another triangle, and all these triangles of 3 people pointing guns at each other all interlock with each other. That was the plan. It didn't really come out like that, but kind of a nice idea. I don't know. Dr. Doom. This one did get posted on Instagram. See, it's a painting of an anus, and then I had the words "keep it tight." So it's an anus, and you want to keep it tight. my wibbly arms, I drew a lot of those. There's a hummingbird flying, but his guts are coming out. What's going on? It's so weird. This was a drawing of my friends and the friend from before, my Japanese girl named Miu, M-I-U. That's her name in graffiti a bunch. We were hanging out and I was drawing. She fell asleep and I drew her asleep. Because that's what happens if I hang out with people, they just fall asleep. One, because they're very comfortable around me, because I have a very comforting spirit and vibe. And also, I'm boring as shit, so people just fall asleep. She had this clown mask, she put it on, I drew it. Cat suit guy with a gun. Cat suit guy with a gun. Really like this one. I think this did get posted on Instagram. I think this is in my paints book. There's a few of those in there. In here, in there, in there, in here, in there. All over the place and everywhere. Yeah, he's got like the funny shape. He's got, you know, the early days of my long nose guy, hunched over, long legs, wibbly, long arms, and a gun, big head. I like the shapes. I like the colours. That's a good one. This is, you know, sitting down, arms, graffiti. I don't know. There's something to that. There's a drawing of sort of early. I don't know which one I did first, but. Fucking who cares? This guy, he made it into the paint book. So he's where his penis is. He's got a spray can spooging out black ink or paint or whatever. And then so look, you got a guy in a cat suit. So he's the man and he's wearing a suit of a cat. And this is a cat. He's his little cat face in a suit of a man with the long nose and eyes and ears of a man. And because he's in the suit of a man, he's got a flak jacket and an MP5 and a little like Glock pistol and stun grenades and frag grenades and a hunting knife. Still on that wanting to be Kim Jong-gi thing where he draws all of his, you know, paratroopers and army men's. A little painting of a zombie. Is there glare on that? Oh, you can see it all right on the screen. That's a cool little zombie. That's, you know, I used to paint teeny tiny. I've gotten bigger since then, obviously. More. This is full of it. But I'd only recently discovered Jung-gi, so I was like, how does he do it? I was trying to like make myself be able to do what he does. Guys in cat suits with loads of pouches and guns and guns and guns and guns, which you can, if you look through, you know, Jung-gi's artwork, you can find where I've basically just copied all this shit from. Like a blanket laid out on the floor with guns and magazines on it. Boxes of shells and stuff. It's all just fucking stolen. Space Marines! Well, there's kind of like doodles of Space Marines and shit. Gun Viking. Robin. Running Robin. Some girl. This turned out to be Freya in the comic. I think originally this was going to be like a female Gun Viking. Oh, and like a female Doctor Doom. See, she's got like boob armour on her chest. I was going to do that as a full drawing, or like a Doctor Doomette or something. So there's no reason it shouldn't be Doctor Doom still, but a woman. Man Bear Pig! I did a few drawings at the time of trying to do like a really gnarly, cool drawing of Man Bear Pig. That's another thing I could redo today. So like from one side it's hairy pig man, from the other side it's all pink and fleshy and gnarly. It's quite a cool little double image. Space Marines. This, see, now the Death Guard, the Nurgle Chaos Space Marines have a very sort of specific look to them. But I drew this before they changed them. I wasn't really into Warhammer, but I sort of came up with this design of having them a bit more large and bloated and more of these kinds of shapes. And then several years later, they redesigned the Death Guard and they look very, very similar to this, which is I always thought was a little bit weird, but it doesn't fucking matter. It's just a thing. That's from Raiders of the Lost Ark, when they open the Ark and it melts all the Nazis' faces off, and that's the guy's face melting off. I really, really like that painting. That was just a quick study and maybe took 10, 20 minutes. You can almost see how quickly the paint's just put on there. Some ballpoint ink and stuff in places. But yeah, really, really like that one. There's good shapes and colours in there. Same. That's the guy who wrote Zach Ridley. Squid Man, Mind Flare thing. Hello Kitty, but with one eye. It's quite a funny idea. I don't know. Head Lopper. That's the sort of time this was, when the first Head Lopper came out. I thought of, I'll draw some cool headlopper and then post it online and then tag the guy, and never really happened like that. Just a bunch of shit. More of my Lady Doom. Lady Doom I think is the name of Ashley Wood's character, but whatever. Yeah, it's quite a cool vibe, isn't it? Like a more, thin, feminine looking Doctor Doom face mask, and then more of a cape as opposed to a full like robe, and then her metallic breastplate or whatever. Cammy with a big arse. I don't know. Arse face is Batman. I painted that at some point. Mona Lisa, but with a pumpkin for a head. Why bloody not? That's quite a cool painting. I thought I gave the original away, but apparently I didn't. It's right here. Little pumpkin with a penis and an ass. It's funny. Evidently, this was around Halloween time, and I was like, I've got to come up with some Halloween artwork to post on Instagram, so I'll fucking... that's my friend, same Japanese girl, Mew. She's got this, wolf skull or whatever tattoo on her shoulder. That's her with the, and then that's her in a clown mask. That's a pretty good painting. That made it into the book as well. I actually really like that. I think it's really cool. Cool little painty paint. That's some like cosplay Instagram influencer girl from back in the day, and I painted that, which is actually pretty cool considering it was still early days in my painting career or whatever. All right, here, very very early pre-flesh bobs. I think this is the reason when I was flipping through sketchbooks deciding which one to show, I chose this one because I fairly recently did the whole flesh bob thing as a whole episode. More man, bear, pig. I really like this one. I like the running stance, one arm down, one arm up, of course. Red, gnarly flesh on one side, fur on the other. Man body. But yeah, this was early in the days. I think I said in the flesh bob episode, I was taking different parts of the body and then making a flesh bob out of them. So that's like a brain bob, which I still quite like. I think I could do that if I made it a bit chunkier, so a bit less small and intricate in terms of the brain wrinkles. That could be quite a cool thing. Intestines Bob running around as just intestines with one eye, but SpongeBob's nose made of flesh. Bone Bob, but I've seen that done a few times, so I don't really roll with that. Eyeballs Bob. I tried to make it look like a cube with like the shadow here, but I'm not sure it quite works, and like a mouth kind of. I still kind of dig it. I think this one's a little bit wilder. A little bit, not much, but I like that. I still quite like that. And then I tried, this is a difficult one, but I tried to do like a nervous system bob with like veins. It looks more like, I don't know, almost like a honeycomb, but not quite. Like a mesh sort of thing. Doesn't look like veins necessarily, but I think if I showed that off with the title of like nervous system bob or whatever, people would understand. But you can see his nose and his eyes and like, it's got layers. There's like a foreground and a background that's darker. And some tits. I like tits. Tits are good. The Thing from John Carpenter's The Thing, starring SpongeBob as Flesh Bob as The Thing. I think I drew this right after another artist I like on Instagram drew just like a caricature version of the Thing melting face. And so I thought, what if I did that? But SpongeBob. So he's got two SpongeBob noses, his buck teeth, and his hands like, oh God. Still to this day, I really like that. I think it's a really cool piece. Like if I painted that all fleshy and like red raw in the middle to make it look like stingy and hurty, that'd be quite cool. Some old Flesh Bob, like I don't think he's eating this girl's ass, but he's just chilling out, having a whale of a time. And then in this one, I thought it would be his nose is going up into her pussy, so she's sitting there all blushing in her face, her bra straps hanging off, no underwear. You see his little weenie there. Early Flesh Bobs. It's what he got up to. He loves the ladies and he loves killing. I think this was before I made him a murderer. He used to just be into like tits and ass, but now he's a murderous little tyke. Some gun Viking, quite cool gun Viking poses. One leg up, one arm out, holding a big fucking gun. A few different sort of takes on the pose. This is a demon. I think the devil from the game Ghouls and ghosts and goblins, goblin ghouls and ghosty goblin ghouls. It had a couple of different names. I think one of them was like ghouls and ghosts, and one of them was like goblins and ghosts, or ghouls and goblins, or something like that. And that's the last boss. He's like the devil, and he's got a devil face in his tummy and a devil face on top, and he's like some flesh bobs. This one I wanted it to be like, I think it's too messy. I could do it better now, obviously. Well, not obviously, but I probably could. Where he's like grabbing breasts and it's blowing him away. He's just like going, oh fuck, amazing, having the time of his life, just squeezing some big juicy tits. And here he's got tits for eyes. That's like a precursor to the skulls with tits for eyes. That's maybe a bit of a better drawing in terms of this happening. I'd need to make it more obvious that they are breasts, maybe make them bigger with a girl's head here, a smiling girl's face here. Tetsuo Bob. See, I haven't done much Akira artwork, and maybe this is why, but I did think, what if it was SpongeBob, but he was made out of Tetsuo's big swollen arm? So it's the big arm with the face of, SpongeBob's face and some legs coming out. It's just an idea. More tit eyes, whatever. Whatever, fucking whatevs. That's quite a cool drawing. Again, more Instagram girls. Desperate for attention. That's me being desperate for their attention, not the other way round. Flesh Bob's split in half with one eye, like sat in the goop. And then I painted it. I think I love this painting. It feels like juicy and gloopy. I actually really like the painting. Some very early like double lighting and stuff going on, and leaving the underpainting showing through and bits and pieces. Yeah, I really like that. I think I prefer this drawing, but I like this painting. So maybe if I can combine that shit. Yeah, I think there's quite a lot of artwork in here that I'd like to take and reuse, as I actually did without even thinking about it. This is an idea I had long ago of Leatherface, and it said keep on chopping instead of keep on trucking, the Robert Crumb drawing. I just redrew it better fairly recently. It's on my Instagram. Go fucking look for it if you give a shit. Hello Kitty, but like a hot woman in like a secretary uniform, a pencil skirt and a tight blouse, but a Hello Kitty head. It's quite hot actually. A friend. Cerebus, the aardvark, jumping, killing skeletons, going on and on and on. Ash from the Evil Dead. I was going to say the Evil Wood. Ashley Wood, the evil Wood. Ashley Dead. Bunch of skull guys. I don't know. Skull Bob, Flesh Eye Bob Skull. I don't know. Skull guy, some tits, a thing, a body with an eye, and that's so. Anyway, ultimately, I murdered the girl that I thought was following me. I went up to her, I fucking stabbed her in the neck, and I went, "Stop following me, you cunt! Follow this!" I stabbed her with my little pocket knife, which is what I call my penis. And now she's dead, so that's the end of that story. Anyway, all this talk of the fucking post office and being followed by agents unknown, I never actually mentioned... I had planned to mention, but I never got around to mentioning what the fuck it is I'm painting. I mean, you could probably see it's the Green Goblin, but it's not just the Green Goblin, it's many the Green Goblins. This is a commission I meant to do ages and ages and ages ago. Somebody commissioned me to paint a picture containing many Green Goblins because, the Green Goblin's been drawn by so many people over the years. So somebody wanted me to draw a bunch of people's Green Goblins, including my own. So we have, and this is they gave me a list with pictorial examples of what they would like in the piece. So we have the 60s cartoon Green Goblin, the 90s cartoon Green Goblin. This, I believe, is John Romita's Green Goblin, Sal Buscema, Steve Ditko, Ron Frenz, and Humberto Ramos, I think. And it's quite funny that the colours are really basic on these because they're old comics, so they're just the colours and then the ink work over the top. Whereas the newer ones have actual this is it looks like it's maybe a commission or something. It's like a watercolorish effect on the original that I'm copying, because apparently that's all I do now. I just copy other people's artwork. And then this one, it's a front cover of a Spider-Man comic, and it's all, digital sort of lighting and stuff. So I've tried to emulate that a little bit. And in one night I got all the colours done in all of these ones, and then I figured I'd make a video of me, or use it for content for the podcast, of me painting my one. Because that's what he wanted. He wanted all of those other Green Goblins, because he's commissioned me to do a couple of Green Goblin paintings over the years. He obviously really fucking likes the Green Goblin, which is cool, I guess you see my work and, I've said about a zillion times, this podcast. I paint a lot of goblins. I like goblins. I paint them a lot. So it sort of stands to reason that somebody would ask me to paint fucking goblins that are green from the Spider-Man comic. So that's what I'm fucking doing. And I'm only too happy to oblige, because I like the Green Goblin. I like goblins in general. And that's that. But that's it. That's all there is to it, really. But yes, oh Jesus fucking Christ. He wanted me to paint all those other Green Goblins, and then in the middle, my own version of the Green Goblin, which is obviously going to look 10 times better than all the ones around it. Although I'm actually really happy with this one. And this one's got like a weird kind of armour. So, is it Humberto Ramos? Humberto Ramos did a really good job on that one. But the more modern ones, they're sort of, they've had an entire, they've had generations worth of inspiration to build off of. So, and that's how it's supposed to go, isn't it? Every generation is supposed to be better than the previous one. That's how art is supposed to be as well. You can say art doesn't get better necessarily, because who can say if it's good or bad? I can say if it's good or bad. The 60s cartoon, obviously they're limited by technology and whatever else, but even the comics from back in the day, the artwork looks like absolute shite compared to today's. The angles are not as dramatic, the poses look all stiff and weird. Something on my teeth. It's pubic hair from sucking cock. I don't know why that was threatening to be Christmas music. Not Christmas, circus music. Fucking idiot, you, and you stupid. Fucking, I hate you so much. Me, I hate you so much. I hate you so much right now. Remember that was a song? Weird. I'm painting my one in the middle, and it's all very good and gravy. A couple of pumpkin bombs in there. I really like this so far. There's still time to ruin it, of course, but I'm sure I won't. I got all the colour done in one night, and then I ran out of blue, so I had to go buy more blue. That's part of what I was doing today. Going to the stores, looking for blue paint. Cobalt blue specifically is the type I tend to use. I'm using a cobalt blue and I'm going to find out the pronunciation of phthalo. Where is it? See, it's PHTHALO. Phthalo, I guess. Pronunciation. I don't want to go to a video. Just give me a button I can press that tells me how to... God fucking damn it.
We are looking at... Well, so make sure to stay tuned. How do you say it? Fallow, blue, or
fallow. Apparently it's just fallow. Then that makes the T and H completely worthless. Just have PHALO. The TH in there isn't in the middle. It's worthless. I know, words have silent letters sometimes. That's the thing. I get it. I'm just saying it's fucking stupid. Anyway, cobalt blue, fallow blue, phallic blue. Fucking dick blue. Blue balls. Fuck. Fucking hilarious. That's the blues I usually use. If I want it to be a bit brighter, like a more of a glowy, like holographic blue, I use like a cerulean. I think, is this cerulean? This kind of blue? Yeah, like a cerulean blue, because it's a bit more sort of like glowy and bright. But I don't do that very often. I did that actually quite a lot in Zach Ridley, because there's a lot of like, you know, glowy sci-fi holograms and shit, because it's sci-fi, so you have a lot of that shit in there. But otherwise I don't. Oh, fascinating, you, are we? That's what they call me. They call me Fascinating Ewan, because I'm just so goddamn fascinating. Oh, that's why people follow me. I'm fucking fascinating. I'm a specimen. I should be put in a jar and observed like a scientific curiosity. How does someone this talented and this funny also have such a big penis? Well, there's a lot of that today, isn't there? A lot of Ewan has a big penis talk today. I mean, really, you know. God, I just shut the fuck up. I just shut up and paint. Please, Ewan, can you just let me shut up and paint? God damn you. God damn you. Some white to brighten it up, and some red to make it a little bit pinker. Do, 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 do. Jesus Christ. So I did all the colour in one night of these 7 around my one. Ran out of blue, came back to finish mine off, and then I figure, rather than, oh god, I got gas from sucking so much cock. Rather than like do one and then do the outline and then do another one and do the outlines, I'll get all the colour done and then I'll get all the outlining. I'll do the outlining on mine first, just so I've got it in video. And then separately I will do the outlines of all the others, and that's when it will really take shape. And I'm thinking, like, here it will sort of make sense to have a black as the background and underneath going into these drawings, and maybe a bit more black in here, and then maybe here and here go into like a purple and then like a lighter blue on top for the background. I'm not entirely set on that, but I think that might be just what might work best visually, so stay tuned for that. I don't know where to stay tuned to. I won't really be broadcasting that part probably. I think in terms of this episode of Look, I'm fucking not shutting up, I'll probably get as far as maybe getting the pumpkin bombs done, and then I will separately record the rest of it, the outline, the highlights, have that as a separate video. It would make a nice reel, because those seem to do fucking well. And I've not done a painting reel on Instagram in a little while, so I'll get another one of those up. It's annoying because you hear like, oh, you got to do reels because reels is how you get seen now, and then you do reels and then you get seen a lot by doing reels, and it makes you go, oh, god damn it, they were right. You don't want to believe them. You know, when people say, oh, you've got to do this and this, you know, to get seen on Instagram, you want to be like, oh, shut up. How about I just post whatever I want to post, and, you know, people either like it or not. And then I post a reel and it gets me loads of attention out of nowhere, pretty much unexpectedly, and I'm like, oh, god damn it, that means it's probably in my best interest to keep doing that, to keep making reels. And I mean, there's no reason it shouldn't work, and there's, you know, because my own followers do enjoy it. They, you know, you enjoy, I enjoy it as well, seeing the process of pieces being made that maybe you don't get to see otherwise, paintings and drawings and the like. I think especially paintings, because painting can be such an odd, like almost alchemical kind of process that it can be difficult to understand if you're stupid. So to see it like happen almost live can be very, very interesting and fun to watch. So there's no reason I shouldn't make reels for people to see on Instagram of my paintings and such. It's very sort of almost antithetical to the creative process. You know how you see, I guess, TikToks and reels of like people having really tearful, heartfelt moments in their car. Like, oh, I just got fired because of fucking this and that, and I can't believe they're doing this to me. It's prejudiced against fucking stupid people. Boo, boo, boo. But then you know that like the reason you're seeing it is because they got into their car and they set up their phone to record, made sure the angle was cool, made sure the lens was clean, and they're like, okay, cool, right, make sure my hair's all right, my makeup, record, and then, oh, I can't believe they fired me because of Winnie Boo. It's like, it detracts from the actual fucking event. And it's similar with trying to record yourself painting, because it's like, right, I'm in the mood to paint. I've got the artistic energy and the burst of energy and inspiration to sit down and create and paint and do the shit I do. But first, let me spend a few minutes setting up my phone to record, make sure the light's good and there's not too much glare, and make sure everything's cool. Oh, gotta get some different angles, put the phone here for a bit and paint here for a bit and paint and there. And then edit it together and, you know, choose some music and make it... And it's like, for some people that comes somewhat naturally. It doesn't come naturally to me. I know I make it look easy, of course. I mean, come on. But it really is not a natural feeling part of my process. I'd rather just paint. That's why, you know, sort of everybody... Again, everyone loves to think that they're worth being followed. They're worth being abducted by aliens. Everyone wants to think, oh, I'd love to, you know, oh, if a documentary crew followed me around, they'd have some pretty crazy footage. Like, no, they absolutely wouldn't. They'd have the dullest, fucking, most boring documentary on the planet. But I'm not saying... You know, it would be amazing and brilliant, like, and insightful and fun to have a documentary crew follow me around, and wow, what people would see of my process and how I live my artist life, and like, no, that side of it would be boring. But they would be able to get video of me doing shit that takes the pressure off, because it means I don't have to sit there creating videos of myself creating my artwork. It's really sort of like disjointed to have to constantly record your process. Like I say, for some people it does come a bit more... I'm not saying it comes naturally necessarily, but a bit more naturally to some people than others, certainly. Or at least it appears that way. Even if it doesn't come naturally to certain people, they seem to make it look like it does, and good on them for that, I suppose. It gets them the likes and the views and the fucking the dick pics in the DMs or whatever it is they want out of life. And good for them. And personally, I do like watching, you know, my reels sometimes. Because it is interesting to see... You know, because I sit here for, you know, however many hours on end painting a goddamn thing. It is interesting to like almost see it from the outside in like how someone else would see it, but like sped up, and actually see it being created outside of myself. It's kind of interesting sometimes in some ways. But sometimes I do feel like I've already seen this thing. I've been looking at this thing for 3 days straight. I don't need to watch a video of me making the goddamn thing. I know what it looks like because I made the fucking thing. But sometimes it's pretty fun to see. And I like... Yeah, I don't like reducing hours, if not days of work into, a minute and a half video for Instagrams, for one day before I post something the next day. Just making my art into content, literally. Sometimes I really do resent having to do that. Like, wow, is hours and hours of work, and here's a 45-second video. Done. Like, wow, that's puts things into a weird kind of perspective, with regards to content and content creation and art as content and the whole bloody mess of it all. But sometimes I do quite like seeing an entire painting come to life in under a minute. Seeing, days and days of work. In the same way that, like, if you watch a building being built time-lapse, or, anything being made time-lapse, seeing it happen really quick and being like, wow, look at the thing. And it almost, in some ways, allows you to pay attention to certain details that you might not have noticed if you're watching it in real time. Because when you're watching it happen so gradually, you don't necessarily notice certain things. But when you suddenly see, for a painting, another colour block appear in a matter of seconds, you notice it straight away. Like, oh, that's a thing now. Whereas if it happens gradually over an hour or so, you might not really think about it that much. So it can be good and interesting to see time lapses of artwork happen. But I guess the issue comes from, how that time lapse is used. If it is used as a very quick little reel on Instagram, for instance, that's, watched over a day or two and then forgotten about the next day or two, because then you've got to move on to the next thing, because that's what happens. That's how the internet works. Then it's sad, and, it's not why people make art. Well, it's why some people make art, but it's usually the people who make art specifically for that. Not always, but is often shit. Whereas the people who make art to make art, who then have to reduce their art to content, it gets a bit sad. Speaking of sad, have you seen my penis lately? I mean, maybe you don't care, maybe you literally don't want to know or don't want to hear about it. I've actually got a really nice penis. I'm not, we joke around. I think I've said before, if I'm joking about my penis, if the joke requires my penis to be small, I've got the world's smallest penis. If that's what makes the joke work. But if the joke requires me to have a big penis, then I've got the biggest cock on the entire planet. Whatever is necessary, I'll say I've got a tiny cock, I've got a massive cock, I've got no cock, several cocks, all the cocks. Many, 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 many cocks. It's all a load of cock. I don't really, I'm not like, if I make a joke about having a small penis, I'm not then going to suddenly go, all joking aside, my penis is actually very reasonably sized. It's not, wouldn't be considered small necessarily by anyone. I'll continue the bit. If the joke is I have a small penis, then I'll keep that going and I'll say, ha, my penis, it's tiny. If it can be said to be there at all, it's so small, it could almost be said to not even exist, like some kind of bacteria. That's what my penis is. It's bacteria cock. Some people have a micro penis. I've got a bacterial penis. Not only is it tiny, but also if you go near it, you get infected. So best not. Although it's difficult to not go near it because you can't see it, so it's hard to stay away, not knowing exactly where it is at any given moment. See, because it can be funny to have a small penis. But then if I talk about beating people to death with my gargantuan baseball bat of a penis, my meat bat, if you will, then that's funny too. But I will say is I'm very fond of my penis and how it looks. I think I got very lucky with my penis. And again, sorry if you don't want to hear this. Is TMI for you. You know, tough shit. But being what I consider to be a bisexual man myself, it can be nice to look down and see a nice what I consider to be a nice attractive penis. So that's something also. Anyway, maybe enough of that, eh? Enough talking about my fucking dick. Or maybe not enough. Maybe we need more. More Ewan. More Ewan penis. I have thought, I don't know if I've spoken about this before. I might have done, I don't know. I've thought about setting up an OnlyFans, but steady on, not like that, but having my art on OnlyFans. Because OnlyFans has, the reputation, and I guess rightly so, for being a very much adult-oriented website. Because it is one of the few places people can upload adult content and monetize it, and that's a good thing. That's a very, very good thing, depending on who you talk to, I guess. But it doesn't have to be, Fucking shut up. It doesn't have to be adult content. As I say this like as if I'm, fucking shut up. As if I'm giving you some hot scoop of news that you didn't realise before. Like, OnlyFans doesn't have to be porn. You can upload, anything. Fucking hell. Oh, I swear I'm going to fucking staple my hand every time I say from now on. Not including that one. But I did think about setting up an OnlyFans. I'm so conscious of what I'm saying now, of every word, just in case I say again. I did think about setting up an OnlyFans to post artwork, to basically be my Patreon instead of Patreon, or maybe as well as Patreon, purely because it's got like some kind of brand recognition. So I could say, sign up to my OnlyFans, and because that's like a hot thing right now, kind of, people might think they're getting penis and balls and stuff, but really it's just art that you might not see in other places, or just like I say, just like my Patreon. But if you don't really care about Patreon, or you don't really know what Patreon is, because some people don't. Patreon had a big moment like several years back, but a lot of people still use. Did I just say again? A lot of people still use Patreon, and a lot of people use Patreon as a newer thing these days still. But I think it did have a sort of a more famous moment several years ago, and now OnlyFans has pretty much taken that over. And of course, Patreon used to allow adult content, and so sex workers were able to post their shit on there, but they have since rescinded that. I think they allow like nudity, but not sex stuff, I think. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they stopped. I don't know. I don't know anything. I talk whilst knowing nothing. But, Ugh. I just think, fuck's sake, what is it? Why? I don't feel like it's ever been a thing that I've said a lot, in any like previous weeks of the podcast or whatever else. I don't feel like I've ever said a lot. Why has that become a thing? Why am I suddenly unable to stop saying It's fucking annoying. I apologise if it's annoying you as much as it's annoying me. Maybe you don't even notice. Fucking stupid cunt. But also I could set up an OnlyFans and show my dick off. I don't know. Why not? Why bloody not? want to see my penis? Go on Instagram. Oh, Ewan said he's got a really nice, pretty penis, so I'm going to go to his OnlyFans and see his penis. And then you go on it and you go, oh, is that it? It just looks like any other penis. My birthmark's on my penis. There's some news. I've probably mentioned that before, I'm not sure, but now that's something that you know. That was a valid you know in that case, because that was two separate words, not a conjunction of you know. Yeah, my birthmark is on my penis, which I, as a young'un, I always worried about. I was like, oh, what if anyone ever sees my penis, they're going to think it's ugly because it's got this horrible brown spot on it. Never once been an issue. Never. It's never come up. My penis has come up a few times, if you know what I mean, but the fact that my birthmark happens to be on my penis has never come up. Also, it would be a bit rude if somebody did mention it. Not mention it, but just be like, fucking hell! Oh! I am gonna commit self-death. I swear to God. My point was, if somebody said something along the lines of, ugh, what is that? When they saw my penis. Fuck is that horrible brown spot on your dick? That'd be a bit rude, wouldn't it? It'd be like if I saw a vagina for the first time and went, ugh, what is that thing? That fucking disgusting, fetid hole between your legs. It's my vagina. I had no intention of talking about penis and vagina so much, but these things happen. I think I'm just about done with his suit. I don't think there's too much more to do. So strange about that, I'm trying to think of like where it came from, if I've been watching something that people have been talking about that, and I've sort of if I've watched something where somebody says a lot, and I've sort of assimilated that behaviour or something. I have no idea. It's so strange. It feels strange to me. I don't know how it comes across outside of myself, because I'm not outside of myself. I can only exist in my stupid head, Fuck, it's just irritating the fuck out of me. Maybe I shouldn't get so upset about it. It's just a thing, but it's a fucking irritating thing, I can tell you that. I was so I'm scratching my balls a bit because they're getting a bit hot and bothered. Not incredibly happy with the gloves, but I think overall it works, doesn't it? Sort of, more or less. Yeah. No, I'm happy with how it's going. It's going alright. It's good. Have some fucking faith in yourself, you fuck cunt. I was going to aim to have the pumpkin bombs done now, but I think this whole mess of an episode has gone on long enough. This will probably be on Instagram before you've seen this video. I would have finished the painting and uploaded it and been like, oh, there's content for today. Maybe even a reel of it being created. Who knows?